Welcome back to Rocky Mountain Gardens. And if you're new here, my name is Mary, and I am here today to share with you my latest thrift haul. Now, in my area in Colorado, we see absolutely no Christmas merchandise, I guess you could say, in the thrift stores until it is like Black Friday. I mean, there's literally nothing during Christmas in July appears in the thrift stores here. So I took advantage, and my Black Friday was spent shopping thrift stores this year, and it was very successful. I found some great treasures. Oh, and guys, while I'm at it, I want to be sure to mention my Rudolph little beautiful cup that I got at Michael's about 2 years ago, and in it I have some of my mulled wine. Now guys, as you saw in the beginning of my video, mulled wine is something that is quite easy to make. So if you would like to make it for your friends and family this holiday season, just follow my recipe because it is the quickest and easiest way to make mulled wine, and oh my goodness. It is so delicious. And it brings back memories to me from my time in Germany, because at all of the Christkindlmarkts that you can go to in this country of Germany, and although it started in Nuremberg, was the first Christkindlmarkt. There are quite a few towns and cities around the country that also have their local Christkindlmarkt today. In case you missed my video where I decorated my traditional Christmas tree, and I'll put a card for it up here, I talked about the Christkindlmarkt in Nuremberg and the fact that Christkindlmarkt means Christ Child's Market in German. And of course, it's celebrating the birth of our Savior. So guys, anyway, at the Christkindlmarkts, you always find Gluehwein, which is the German word for hot spiced wine, or mulled wine as they call it in England. And so, bringing back memories with these tastes is always fun during the Christmas season. And I think your friends and family will really love this drink if you would like to try it. All right, so let's get started on my thrift haul. And the first thing in the Ark, which is it's a charity store raising funds for handicapped Americans. And it's something that I know is here in Colorado. I'm not sure about the rest of the country. But, oh my goodness, they had a section in their books where they keep all of their used books, where they had separated out all of the children's Christmas books. And oh, it was a gold mine for me of Christmas books for my grandsons. Now, just quickly, I'm going to show you some of the titles I got. Isn't that a cute story? And this one can go on into wintertime. Here Comes the Snow. I got another Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer Little Golden book, which is definitely a vintage piece. And I got another one of these Jingle Bells. You just can't go wrong. These make fabulous gifts for the children in your life. If you, like I do, I already have copies of these, but wonderful gifts to give. And then here we have Frosty the Snowman. I wasn't sure exactly what the title said, but Frosty the Snowman. So those were such a find. Now, Jan Brett, if you're not familiar with her, is a fantastic author. And I found this book by her, which is called Who's That Knocking on Christmas Eve? Of course, everyone loves a polar bear story, don't they? Marcus Pfister if you're not familiar with Marcus Pfister, he's a German author, and he wrote a famous book that you probably have seen. It's called The Rainbow Fish. Wonderful story. But this one is called The Star. And oh my goodness, great Christmas storytelling about why we celebrate Christmas. And this book, I was so excited to get a hard copy of, the candy cane story, which is a legendary story about the Christmas story, sort of related to candy canes. And the candy cane stripes are representative of the spiritual side of our Christmas story. Great book. $2.99 for this book. The Christmas Star was $1.99. Who's That Knocking on Christmas Eve was $1.99. And each of my golden books were 99 cents. So these were wonderful finds. I wanted to share with you, I got this lovely Santa mug, and I have another Santa mug that I bought, I think at Michael's, but this one I was able to get, let's see, it was $1.49 at my local thrift store. And then, well, let's see, let's start with this. Speaking of German traditions, these are some beautiful Christmas ornaments, and I'm going to go ahead and show you a little video close-up of it so you can see it better. But these are called Christbaum Schmuck, and that means the Christ tree, literally, Christmas tree. And Schmuck is jewelry, so it is jewelry to hang on your tree, meaning ornaments like we call them. And this was $1.99 for these original German ornaments, and they were made in Germany. And anyway, I think they're going to look beautiful on my tree next year. Christmas-wise, the other items I found were this fantastic little candle holder, and I will show you again. Here's another little video so you can see it close up. But I do love nutcrackers, such a German design. They're actually in German called Nussknacker, and this item was $1.99, and it uses a taper candle. But oh my gosh, I thought this was just darling, and I think I'm going to enjoy using it also for my Christmas decor. Now, another piece that I got over here was this tin tray, and let me show you a close-up of it again so you can see how it looks. It was $2.99. It's a little bit expensive for a tin tray, but I just love the fact that it has sort of an aged look. I don't think it's really vintage. It's hard to tell, but it definitely appears to be vintage, so it will add that look to my decor. And by the way, friends, while we're talking about vintage, I wanted to tell you that I did a little research, and I know I mentioned this in another video a while back, but I actually, I was pretty sure that in order for an item to be considered an antique, it must be at least 100 years old. I knew that a lot of people use that term vintage a little bit loosely, and I was wondering, what exactly does vintage mean? So I did a little bit more research on that and found that in order for an item to be considered vintage, it must be at least 20 years old. So guys, anything made before 2000 at this point can be considered vintage. Now you have different vintage styles, you know, those that look from the 40s and the 1940s, 1950s, and then the changes during the 60s with that mid-century modern look, which is not one of my favorites. And I think in the 90s, it became, it was a little bit more moving back toward that 1940s and 50s look instead of that ultra modern, mid-century modern look that, to me, for my taste, everyone has their own things, styles that they like the best. But, for my own personal taste, I really am drawn to the 1940s and 50s and even 1930s. In any case, because of that, now I have a more clear picture of what I can say is a vintage item. Now, my next thing for Christmas that I found were these two little Christmas candles, little Christmas trees, and they have little red berries on them, and they're just so cute for my decor. They would look really cute even on, look at this, even on top of my nutcracker candle holder. That looks cute, doesn't it? Well, in any case, I think these, because I lost my tag off them, but I think they were about $1.29 a piece. But I really love them. I snatched them right up. Now, I did some more research on this company called Home Co. It is, I'll put it up here on the screen, how you spell Home Co. If you find Home Co items, let's see if I can remember this correctly. It was a company that was founded in about 1957, and I think it went out of business. And it was started by a woman who was a very successful businesswoman. In her day in the 1950s, she became quite successful. And Home Co items were actually made in Taiwan, and I wish I could remember her name. I'll look it up and put her name up here on the screen for you if you're curious. Later, Home Co was bought out by a succession of companies, and they finally went out of business in the early 2000s. So they don't exist anymore. But definitely you can consider them vintage. And these two little girls that I found, and I'm going to show you a close-up of them now so you can really get a look at them. The larger one is Home Co, and it is they all have numbers on them, 5401. And you can tell, I think, a Home Co item, even if it doesn't have the little Home Co sticker. So it literally had a little gold sticker on the bottom that would say Home Co. But if the sticker is missing and you find a number on it like that, or 5402, which this little smaller Christmas little girl is a 5402, you know that it's a Home Co item. And the smaller one that you saw in the video was, I think, much older. You can see her little dress is chipped somewhat, not quite as well kept. But I just love her little face and her little the dress with the what is this called? Holly berries on it. I just love that design. And then this one, the larger one, I believe was a later item. It's a larger size. It's similar, but I sort of feel that the smaller one is a tiny bit more detailed, and I think therefore shows its age too. They're both done in a bisque finish, meaning it's not shiny, it's a matte finish. And oh my goodness, they look so cute sitting around in my Christmas decor. So pretty. Okay, let's move on. This is getting to be a long video, I'm afraid. Here we have this laundry scrubbing board. What is it called? What's the exact name of it? Can you tell me, please? In any case, it has this orangey finish and this hand-painted design that isn't done very professionally. I mean, it's okay, but I'm going to flip this to use in my laundry room. And guys, if you'd like to see how I change it, go ahead and watch for my next video next Friday, where it will be Flipping Friday, and I'm going to do a couple of projects for you. And this laundry piece will be one of the projects in my next video. Next, I found this little plate. Let's take a close-up look. And this one is Royal Standard. It was made in England. And I just love this turquoise color. And one of the fun things for thrifting with me is collecting teacups and saucers. So I will be on the lookout for either a teacup that coordinates with this design or matches it exactly, so I can use it in my next tea party. I've mentioned in the past that my aunts gave my daughter a set of this Waterford china. It is called Countryside, and it's just lovely. And we went out and counted all the pieces in the box that my daughter is storing it in, and found that we only had 6. It's a set of 12. It's really nicely preserved, but we only had 6 cups. So, oh my goodness, I saw one of these when I was thrifting last, and I snatched it up as fast as I could because, oh my gosh, now we have 7. And that is such a part of the thrill of thrifting. Next, I have this tiny little fawn, and I'll show you a close-up of it again here. And this little fawn was made by Global Art, and it is from a collection called let me get my glasses on here, Harvey Knox Kingdom. And I believe when I researched it that Harvey Knox was an artist, and he designed these little figurines. And guys, in the spring after Christmas, you can look forward to one of my videos being a sort of a little garden for indoors while we're waiting for spring to come to cheer us up when we're in those dreary winter months. But I'm going to design a little garden, and I've been keeping my eyes peeled for these little figurines to add to my design, so stay tuned for that. And I also found this wonderful little figurine, and it's done by a company called Charming Tales, and this one I do believe is vintage. And let's see a close-up. It is, let's see if it has a specific name on it. Oh, it is called, and if you are looking at the close-up, it is called You Bake Me Happy. But it has these little, like a mama mouse and a little baby mouse, and mama is baking some acorn cookies. Aren't they darling? And she has her sack of flour there as well. But, oh my gosh, another wonderful little figurine that I can use in a garden scene. So, like I said, stay tuned for what I do in creating a lovely little scene for the springtime and to bring us some, outdoor summer cheer as we're waiting for winter to be done and over with. Alrighty, so I believe that's all I have from my collection of the latest shopping spree that I went on to the thrift store on Black Friday. And thank you guys so much for stopping by and joining me for this thrift haul. I hope you will think about taking advantage of that hot mulled wine, or as we say in German, Gluehwein. And guys, have a Merry Christmas and bye for now.